Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Valandro, and I'm here with three panelists to present the ESSEC Global MBA. And we will talk specifically about the strategy and digital leadership track. I am going to very quickly let you know how the presentation is going to take place. First, I'm going to introduce the four people here with you. Then we are going to talk in general terms about ESSEC Business School and what the school has to offer. We will dive into the Global MBA in general. We will talk about the class profile for the Global MBA. We will quickly introduce you in a little more depth on one of our alumni. Then we'll dive into specifically the courses and the track, the strategy and digital leadership track. We will talk about the Talent Center, which is very important in the program. And we'll talk about the application process and the next deadlines for application. And then we'll go into what you're here for also is letting the alumni tell you about their experiences in the program, and they will answer some of your questions. And then we'll put our contact information on the screen to make sure that you can always reach out to us if you have any other questions that you think about later in time. So first, I'm going to introduce you to Professor Sofia Ramos, who is an Associate Professor of Finance and the Academic Director of the ESSEC Global MBA Strategy and Digital Leadership track. There is myself, Laura Valandro. I'm an International Recruitment Manager for the program. Then you have on the screen Simona Sarkisyan, who is an alumnus from the class of 2021. And Yatin Nanda, who is also an alumnus from the class of 2021. Professor Sofia Ramos is going to start with the presentation about ESSEC and the Global MBA. Go right ahead.
So thank you very much, Laura, and thank you to all the attendees of this session. Also a special thanks to Simona and Yatin that are here with us. So let me present first ESSEC Business School. So ESSEC is a school with more than 100 years of age. So it's an institution with a long reputation in France and has campus worldwide. So we have a campus in Cergy, in the Paris region, in Paris, in La Défense region, and also in Asia, in Singapore, and Africa, in Rabat. As all business, the education business is also being affected by digitalization, and we'll talk about this when we talk about our track. ESSEC also has been, or the business of education has been impacting by digitalization, and ESSEC is now offering more and more also courses on its digital campus. ESSEC is a school that is ranked by the Financial Times on the top 10. So in the top 10 of business school, and its programs are well ranked on the different rankings. Also, we have the Triple Crown, so we are accredited by AACSB, the EMBA, and also EQUIS, which are important accreditations for educational programs, in particular for MBAs. Tell you more about about our program. So the program has an overall duration of 12 months, and in the last 3 months, you are dedicated to do a capstone project or a field project. So the overall duration is 12 months, but in the terminals of, let's say, of the academic program, we also want, and this is one of features of our program, to have some more applied experience, each to do a capstone consulting project or a field project. So we offer classes in 2 campuses. We must say that last year the offer in the Singapore campus were more restricted due to COVID, but as restrictions are being taken, we hope to have more offer on the Singapore campus, and students be able to experience the full MBA program also on the Singapore campus. Our program also offers 2 specializations, so strategy and digital leadership. and the luxury brand management, which is also an area where ESSEC has a lot of expertise. Today we are here to talk more about the strategy and digital leadership. There are also webinars specific for the luxury brand. So during the program, you also experience another country experience, so like through the field trips, and we also have virtual. So this was something that we started during the time of the COVID, also virtual trips where students can also contact. So we organize a kind of a fair and talks with different speakers from different countries, but virtually. But for instance, for this year, we already have scheduled two trips, one to London now already in December, and then to Luxembourg and the Netherlands, so to Amsterdam in March. So the program is also well ranked in terms of international contents. So as you see here, I mean, the dimension of international is one of the most appreciated of the program, and the program is also quite well ranked in terms of Asia rankings. I will talk more about the international content of the program, because I think this is something that distinguishes our program. In terms of class profile, so the average age is around 30 years old. It's a very, so as you see there, it's very internationally diversified, 97% of international class. And usually the average experience is around 6 years. So the minimum to apply to the program is 3 years of experience. The average is around 6 years. And it's a program that is quite well balanced in terms of gender. We have 50% of female participants.
So now we're going to very quickly introduce you and let him talk. One of our alumnus, who is Yatin Nanda, who, as I said earlier, is an alumnus from the class of 2021. Please, Yatin, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Professor, and thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. A little bit about me. I'm currently actually working with this firm called savoir-être. It's a hospitality, tourism, and leisure company, and I'm working there as a market research and feasibility consultant. And that's pretty much exactly the job that I wanted post the MBA. I have ESSEC to thank in a big part for that. I'll obviously go on to tell you how that worked out for me. But prior to joining, this job, I was actually doing my MBA at ESSEC, which is a phenomenal experience. And throughout that entire year, I had the pleasure of engaging in a lot of activities and a lot of studies, a lot of trips. I was the class rep as well as the student ambassador, so I kind of tried to make the most of my time there. And prior to the MBA, I was actually working in McKinsey & Company for almost 5 years with the India and Middle East offices. So I have a background in consulting, and that's the tourism and travel sector is really what interested me, which is why I thought the MBA was a great stepping stone to actually graduate from the Indian markets that I knew so well into more of an international setting, and that's kind of how I saw myself getting into that MBA.
So thank you. Could you give us about 3 words that would describe your MBA experience? 3 specifically.
Sure. I think I'd have to go with it's intensive. That's because I think that 1 year is so short. There's so much that's going on. You're always on the go. I mean, whether it's with your projects, with your assignments, with exams, with tests, or just networking and trying to find yourself a job. I think there's a lot that's going on. I'd say that it's extremely international. I would say, well, yeah, easily above 90% of my classmates were from varied backgrounds, not just in terms of nationality, but in terms of their professional backgrounds as well and what they wanted to do post the MBA, which I think is makes it a fantastic experience. And lastly, I'd say it's fun. I mean, I made a lot of friends. I made very close individuals that I could call family now, and I think that the program is designed to ensure that you kind of find the best version of yourself. So definitely, yeah, intense, international, and fun.
Thank you. And I have another question for you. So how did the Global MBA and ESSEC in general contribute to help you achieve your goals?
So this is what I was mentioning earlier. I think ESSEC was a great platform for me to launch myself into the career of choice. And I think that the way the program is designed in terms of the first 2 terms just focused on academics and the 3rd term focused on your capstone project, it allows you that flexibility to network throughout the year because of the various programs that exist throughout the year in terms of opportunities to network. But at the same time, those final 3 months where you're supposed to do a capstone that either the school can provide you or you can look for an internship on your own, that really helped me cement my decision on launching into this industry. So I was able to secure an internship, which then I used to later find my job. So I think that I was able to pace myself throughout the year just because of the way the program is designed. I was able to leverage all the resources that were made available to me in order to ensure that I could have a very clear idea of where I wanted to go and ensure that each one of those resources that I leveraged was taking me a step further in that direction. So I think the class trips that gave me a very wide access to an international network, I think the kind of professors that I had exposure to that taught me, it helped me gain understanding of various topics that previously I may not have been adept in. It allowed me to participate in various case competitions, which really sharpened my consulting toolkit. So eventually, I think that over the course of the year, in small tidbits, I was picking up skills that really created a rounded application for me when I went in for my job, and it worked out pretty well.
Thank you. Thank you for this. And then do you have any advice or any recommendation for the attendees here who would like to apply into the program?
Absolutely. I think the biggest advice that I would give you is to network from the very beginning. Don't wait towards the end of your term or towards the end of your year to try and secure what you're after. Start from the very beginning. I mean, make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. There's a lot that's going to be going on. There might be a situation where you may not be able to do everything, so prioritize. Know very clearly what you want to do and what you're looking for from this program, because it offers something for everybody. So ensure that you hit the ground running from the get-go, and you should be in good stead.
Thank you. Sophia, you can go right ahead with the specialization.
Yes, so I'd like also to talk about the specialization that we have. So I mean, we know that many of the applicants to MBA, they would like to dive into consulting. That's the main goal. So that's one of the goals of these tracks, to offer this opportunity to participants to develop their skill, learn about this, how to manage projects. However, we wanted to go a little bit further because we believe that there are very important trends that we cannot avoid, like digitalization. And in fact, I mean, consulting is also changing and should offer something more, on this specialization. We want to offer something more on this specialization so that participants can also combine these new skills on digitalization and offer something on this area. So that's the main goal, the main idea of this track, to combine these two areas, strategy and digitalization, because we know that it's a trend that we cannot avoid. Right. So maybe I also talk what is also specific about our contents, because of course in this essence it's a core, it's an MBA program, but our program distinguished by the international dimension, the insights on the digital economy, and also by the data analysis and the sustainability, that component that we try to put. So when I say about international dimension, it means that this starts by the faculty. So ESSEC faculty is also very international diversified. There is more than 40 nationalities on the professors, by our different campus on different continents, by the different field trips that we offer to participants that have speakers also from these countries. So overall, it's an overall international approach that we try to give in the program, and by also the diversity of the participants, so they are able also to manage very international teams. So the second dimension is about the digital economy. So as I said, we understand this is a very important trend that has been changing business, and we want this to be incorporated on the program. So first, of course, is to understand digital transformation, and you have courses on this. But then for us, it's also important to know how to apply it. So that's why we have the Digital Week competition, where participants work on a project with a company, and they have the opportunity to, through this competition, so they develop a project on this area. Also, the capstones projects, they usually also involve a high level of projects on digitalization. So this is another important aspect of our program. Data analysis, and this, data, it's also something that is related with the digital economy. So the program also puts some emphasis in terms of data analysis. So data is everywhere. It's become a key ingredient of our modern organization. So collecting data for decision making, this is essential. Organizing this data, forecasting, developing the best models, presenting data in readable ways. So these are also components that are emphasized in our program. And of course, sustainability. The approach that has been followed in the program is, of course, the courses should incorporate, and this is embedded in the courses. But we think that it's also important that our participants are aware and are part of the action that is necessary to do this economic transition for a carbon neutral world, aligned with Paris Agreement goals. So we believe that this is quite important, and we want that our students be on the forefront of this and understand the implications that all this transition will have on the business models, and we want them to be on the front line regarding these trends. So this is something that is, as I mentioned, it's also incorporated, and we try that all the courses have some component on sustainability, because we believe this is also very important as we are training the future's managers, so the managers for tomorrow, and they should be aware and they should be on the forefront of these transformations that are now required, as you've been assisting on the COP26 nowadays. Yes. So coming back to the previous, as I said, we have the normal courses of MBA on marketing, financing, accounting, right? We also have provide training on skills. So you, Laura, can you go back just one slide? Yeah. So skills and competence are also very important for us. As I said, being able to manage data, to present, to treat the data, to organize data, this is essential. So that's some of the courses on the skills that relate with this. Knowing Excel, Power BI, Tableau. This is all quite important. And now we can go to the track-specific courses, which are the next slide. So here you have an example of the courses that are being offered this year on the track. So you have negotiations, tech for good, strategic consulting, entrepreneurship, digital marketing. So you also have courses on artificial intelligence, on big data, finance for consulting, corporate strategy. So as I said, this will, so there are courses that will try to address these needs about, working on the consulting sector, but also at the same time to provide the tools to navigate on this more and more digital world, as the companies are also required managers proficient on the digitalization.
So additionally to those courses, those excellent courses that will teach you lots of skills, you will also have a personalized career guidance. So the Talent Center at ESSEC allows you to be very well prepared for the next step of your career. So someone from the Talent Center from the day you arrive on campus until after you graduate. So there are 4 phases of the Talent Center journey. We will help you getting to know what your expectations are and what you wish to become and what career you want to have. Then we will give you resources and values and everything that you need to build your plan of action to change your career. Then we will have you meet different people. We will have you attend conferences, attend master classes to strengthen your network and make sure that your profile is very strong for the next step of your career. And then we will let you shine. We will really help you strategize for your job search for the next step of your career. So from the beginning of your career at ESSEC until you graduate, we will be there with you, and even after you graduate. Simona, Yatin, is there anything you'd like to talk about the Talent Center? Is there anything specific about the Talent Center that you would like to share?
Sure, I can go ahead. So hi everyone, my name is Simona. Laura and Sofia, thank you so much for having me today. So just a bit about the Talent Center and what happened specifically in my case. We had a lot of interactions with coaches, dedicated coaches, one-to-one sessions through which we first start off with our CV. And mainly going through cover letters as well, trying to enhance it and try to see what you're trying to achieve out of this MBA. At the same time, what are the companies that might be interesting for you and for your profile, and how as well to outshine yourself and probably have your CV stand out. So that's the first step in terms of the Talent Center. Then moving on, later on, we had a lot of sessions basically that were focused on networking and how to pitch yourself. So I guess that was the most important part as well. Because we knew obviously how to sell ourselves in some way or the other, but then there were specific key terms or strategies that we never have thought of. So with that, we also were able to really focus on our strategy and how to push ourselves forward. Yatin, I don't know if there's something you want to add, but that was it for me.
Yeah, I think Simona pretty well covered it. Mostly it's just about getting in there, understanding what you really are looking for and sharpening your application in every way, right? So from your CV to your cover letter, and then just that those networking events actually come really in handy, and I can't stress that enough. Throughout the year, you have one event a month, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then obviously over and above that, the trips that are organized. So there's always something or the other that's going on in terms of that part of your MBA. And then of course there are some programs that are designed to help you with your communication, to help you just sort of get comfortable in a professional setting. So I really think that there's a lot to look forward to in terms of support, in terms of guidance, and you're never alone. So it's a really good thing.
Great, thank you. Sofia is going to get into a little more depth about what is offered.
Yeah, I'm just, maybe to give you some examples about what is happening, right? So, for instance, this year we have already in the beginning the 2-day soft skill hacker. They already have a LinkedIn workshop, how to enhance their image on LinkedIn. I mean, there are workshops with coach that the goal is to challenge, to design the path. There are workshops focused specifically on consulting. I mean, there are different workshops. Each one has its role, but the idea is again to show you and to how you can connect and how to improve your image and your CV to better succeed on the all phases that you have mentioned, Laura. So yeah, here we have another so for instance, we have mock interviews with ESSEC alumni. So this is also more around January, so they have not yet started. So but this is something that is also quite important. And of course the field trips where there is many network events. So we also we have many corporate presentations. So some they will have happened on campus, others are special talks that we organize, sometimes with guest speakers, sometimes with recruiters. And also during the field trips, it's also an opportunity to have presentations of the companies, of local companies. So last year we have several from in Luxembourg and the Netherlands that were the places that where we organized the field trip.
So Simona, you already talked a little bit with us, but I'm finally going to introduce you officially. So Simona Sarkisian, you're also an alumnus from the class of 2021. So you're a classmate with Yatin. I'm going to ask you the same questions. So could you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So hi, once again, my name is Simona Sarkisian. I was born and raised in Australia. I'm also partially Lebanese, so that's why you can't see the really strong Australian accent. I headed back to Lebanon. I attended Lebanese American University in Beirut, did my bachelor's. Right after that, I joined the banking sector in Lebanon. So I was with Lebanon's largest bank for a duration of nearly 6 years. I was in marketing and communication, and right after that, I decided that I really wanted to shift into a managerial position. And this is where I thought that, you know, obtaining an MBA is the go-to strategy. I applied to ESSEC, and it was one of the greatest decisions that I've made. It was an intense program. It was really, really fun, as Yatin already mentioned earlier. We learned so much, and currently I was basically through ESSEC and through the networking that I was able to do throughout that specific year. I landed a job at Revolut, and I'm currently in London right now. So right after graduation, I moved here. It's been my 4th week. It's a bit intense just at the start because we have a lot of projects that we're trying to finalize before the end of the year. So what I exactly do at Revolut, I'm basically responsible for the rewards program, which is Revolut's loyalty program. So maintaining partnerships, deals, and so on, and always introducing new products to the market. So that's a bit about myself.
All right, thank you. How about those 3 words that would describe the MBA program for you?
Sure. So first of all, I believe international. They're going to be very similar to Yatin because we're in the same cohort. So international for sure, because as far as I remember, we had 19 different nationalities in our cohort. We were around 50 students with 19 nationalities. So that was like super interesting for me. I managed to network with all of them and get to know them by name, one after the other. Unlike other classes in other universities, such as HSA or INSEAD, it's a huge cohort that you won't be able to really get to know each person individually. That's one thing. Moving on to the second, it was really interesting in terms of networking. So a lot of networking was involved. It really helped sharpen my skills, honestly. Like I was comfortable with talking to a crowd and so on because I used to do that before for my job. But then again, there are really interesting things that we learned, how to show yourself and try to highlight your key strengths in like short time. So really with all the sessions that we had, that was really interesting, networking. And the third, I believe, was maintaining long-term partnerships and like in a very fast and dynamic way as well. So the program was intense. Yatin mentioned that we had a lot of exams, group work, and so on. It's just like any other MBA. Of course, you're going to have work to do, but then at the same time, you're still going to manage to find friends that are going to stick with you for life. And that's really, really important. So not just focusing on just coming into the program and just, you know, probably getting good grades or just trying to find a job, but then again, just securing long-term partnerships that you'll never know whenever you're going to cross paths again.
Thank you. How about, you know, how ESSEC contributed to help you achieve your goals?
Sure. So going back to all the networking and what happened exactly, and with the dedicated tools that we had, such as VMOC, the coaches, all these sessions that came in along the way. So I remember even on every Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, we had a previous alumni that used to come and just tell us about their experience. That was also something interesting. So all these along the way, it wasn't just one specific thing that contributed to reaching my goals. So it was a bunch of things, and definitely the classes, the professors, Professor Ramos taught us finance as well. So it was really, really intense and very rich in my opinion. So all of these tools helped probably achieve my goal today. And I really was focused on shifting from the traditional banking sector that I was in earlier in Lebanon and with very limited exposure, but then again moving into the fintech world and like really focusing on what is there for me and how I'll be able to outshine myself, and how ESSEC and all the skills that I've gained so far in the MBA would really contribute to this goal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, any advice that you would like to give for participants of this webinar who would like to apply to the program?
Sure. So my advice to you is make the most out of it. You might think that it's 12 months, you have a lot of time, but trust me, it passes by super, super quick. Make the most out of it. Network, like Yatin had mentioned earlier, from the start, we're always like interested in just going out probably, or, you know, just meeting new people, moving to a new city. All these are really important, and like definitely agree with that. But then at the same time, try to make the most out of your MBA experience. It's 1 year, it's gonna pass by super quick, and then before you know it, you're just graduating and you're like, oh, I need to find a job, and what's gonna happen? So reach out to as many people as possible. That's what I did. That's what Yatin did for sure. This is where we are today, and this is how ESSEC helped us get through it. So really enjoy every moment.
Thank you. And so the two of you are not only successful alumni. So to give you a few numbers, about 78% of our graduates have had an offer for a job within 4 months of graduation, and then 85% of them have secured permanent positions and have a promotion within the next 6 to 12 months following graduation. So really good numbers to have you understand that our graduates have learned valuable skills that are going to be extremely useful once they find their first job, and the companies recognize that very well. Also a bit of an idea of where our graduates work currently. So we have a good percentage that work in Europe, and then about 20% who work in Asia, Middle East, and the Pacific, 2% in Africa, and 8% in the Americas. So a good diversity of locations for our alumni's jobs. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the application process. If you're here, you might be interested in applying to the program and joining the Global MBA. So it's about 4 steps. First, you will have to prepare for your applications. It's very important to make sure that you know what you're applying for. So make sure that you visit our website, that you choose a major, make sure that you prepare your essay. The application does include 2 to 3 essays, so make sure you prepare those well. And then something that is very important is making sure that you talk to an advisor, whether it's me or another advisor, and most certainly talk to ambassadors. So our ESSEC ambassadors are current students in the Global MBA who will answer your questions about the program. So they have great insight into what is going on currently in the program and give you tips on how to apply or how to better your application. So this is very, very important for you to do. Make sure you exchange with those current students. The second step is to do an online application. So you will have to upload certain documents, your diploma, your transcript, 2 recommendation letters. So 2 professional references are very important, can be from a current manager or a previous employer. We will need those 2 references for you to go ahead with the application. And then we require the GMAT or the GRE. It is required, so we would need to receive those scores. And we also need a TOEFL, an IELTS, or a TOEIC. If you are a graduate from an English-speaking country or an English-speaking institution, it is not required, but for everyone else, it is required. When you submit your application on stage 3, you will have to pass a motivation interview with either an academic director or the program director or an alumni sometimes, and you will have a discussion, have a motivation interview for the program. So it's very important that you prepare well for this interview. And again, you can ask your advisor, you can ask the ambassadors how to prepare for the interview. So make sure you do keep in touch to have all the tips and all the information to be well prepared and have all your chances for the interview. And then after the interview, you will be notified within 2 weeks if you are admitted, and there is a deposit to pay to get into the program. So you can see on the side of the screen the application dates, keeping in mind that our next one is November 21st, with a possibility to have an early bird scholarship. So something to keep in mind that November 21st is our last deadline for you to be able to get an early bird scholarship. If you, like I said, if you wish to contact an advisor or an ambassador, keep in touch with us, either the email address here if you want to take a screenshot or a picture of this slide. We will always contact you after this webinar, so we'll keep in touch, but just in case, feel free to screenshot or take a picture of that screen. And then also, if you wish to have more exchanges with program directors or alumni, we have our next webinars and next master classes that are here on this screen. So the next one is about the luxury brand management track at the end of November, and then the talent center on January 27 will be our next webinars. And then we have master classes on different topics that you can also join on luxury in the Americas on the 12th of December, or the future of retail in the digital age on January 20th. So lots of opportunities to get to know the program more, get to know our alumni, get to know our professors. So make sure that you do attend those events if you are interested. Now is your time to ask some questions. I will give you a few seconds to write some. There is a first one. Why? So this is for you, Simona or Yatin. Go right ahead, one of you or the 2 of you. Why did you choose ESSEC above other great programs in France?
Yatin, would you like to start?
Sure. I think the biggest standout for me was the fact that the cohort size was incredibly small. We're about 50 students, and that meant that I got a lot of focused attention from the talent center, from the professors, and was able to actually build that network with my own, or that rapport with my own classmates. And obviously in the pandemic, a lot of our public events, like our networking events, was stopped. But I mean, if you look at the larger, MBAs with larger cohort sizes, they were unable to actually do that. Everything was virtual for them, but we were able to do all of our events in person. We were able to do an international trip, which a lot of other B schools couldn't. So I think that for me was a great determining factor as to why I should pick ESSEC. Also, I think that the kind of brand name that it enjoys, the kind of alumni network that it has, is just so vast and is so spread all over the world. I mean, my personal example, I mean, you look at Simona, for example, right? She's working in London, even though she's studied in France. I'm going to be working in Bangkok, even though I studied in France. That's just what ESSEC does for you. You know, it sort of sends you around the globe and provides you access to such individuals. So I think these were key reasons why I decided to actually pick ESSEC over any other B school. Sim, do you want to add anything?
Honestly, you said it all. So yeah, the name definitely, ESSEC is a very reputable institute and university. It's one of the best business schools in Europe. So that was the first thing, to be very frank with you all. Moving on to how the classroom is, and yeah, we mentioned this earlier, we got to know every single individual. We're all close to each other. It's like the cohort, that's all that makes the MBA experience. The cohort that's still diverse, but then at the same time it's small. So those were the two things for me. Maybe the last thing I would add as well is that some programs, MBA programs, are around 2 years in the US and so on. But then at the ESSEC, it was a 12-month intense program. But for my case, I just wanted to get it out of the way. So 12 months, finish it, and then move back into the work industry.
All right, thank you. So I have a specific question about the admissions process regarding the recommendation letters, and the person is asking if the recommendation letter will be sent by the applicant or by the recommender. So in this case, for the application, we will send you a document that you have to send to your recommender, but also you will be sending that document once it's filled out. So you have to upload the recommendation letter to your application yourself, and then we will be able to have it in your application file. So let me take a look at a few more questions. Question about the early bird scholarship, if it will still be available if you apply by January 23rd, and is January 23rd the last round of applications? So no, the early bird scholarship will not be available if you apply on January 23rd. You have to be registered into the program to be able to benefit from the early bird scholarship before January 23rd. January 23rd is not the last round of application. We have application up until April, I do believe. So you can apply until then. But these are the 3 dates for the next 3 deadlines. So someone is looking for a career change into digital transformation strategies with the 360 vision of companies in international environment. Would the MBA be aligned with their project? I think maybe Sofia, you can go ahead and give us an idea if that would work.
Yes. So I mean, digital transformation, as I said, it's one of the components of the MBA, something that we give emphasis through courses like studying cases about this company with 360 vision of the companies in international environment. So this means keeping the international focus. Yes, so the MBA is very aligned with this project.
Great, thank you. Maybe a question for the alumni. Daniel from Colombia is asking, how do you believe that the diversity in the MBA helped you in your current jobs?
Do you want to go ahead, Simona?
Let me start, yeah, sure. So going back to diversity in classroom and how it helped out. So basically we were working on a lot of projects back when we were in the cohort. You really knew how to understand others and listen to others and appreciate their opinions. Everyone comes from a different background, so you're probably not used to this where you were probably working at earlier. So for me in Lebanon, everyone was very similar. We didn't have a lot of diversity in the country. I was exposed to a bit of diversity back in Australia, but then again, through ESSEC and through the classroom, I was able to, you know, try to listen to each individual, try to understand where they're coming from. And I believe through that, it has helped me now, because currently at Revolut, no one that I know is Lebanese yet. I haven't met anyone that has a similar background to mine. So I'm working with multiple individuals. A lot of them are from South America. Some are French, which was good because I got to experience the ESSEC community as well. But then others were from all over the world. So with that and with the projects that we had and dealing with one another on a day-to-day basis, that really helped a lot. Yatin, do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, just that diversity and inclusion is a big component of large and global firms today. So you're going to be meeting people with varied backgrounds, and it's important to be able to work with them. And that's what the MBA really does, as Simona said, we're working in teams throughout. Every term, you've got a specific team that you work with, and sometimes within courses, you've got different teams as well. But what the program does is ensures it does not pair individuals from the same nationality. And if it has to, then it doesn't do that like beyond one course. So you're always getting exposed to people from different backgrounds, and that really kind of working in that intense environment equips you with that skill set to be sensitive towards other cultures and other working styles, which obviously supports you in your professional career going forward.
If I can add also, Daniel, so this is part of the soft skills. So being able now, if you want to work in an international environment, you need really to have these soft skills. So that's why I know maybe it's not something that you learn directly on the course, but it's something that you are able to manage and learn through time, how Simona and Yatin had explained, how to listen to other opinions, to different backgrounds. So this is quite important. So soft skills are also something that employers look for, not only knowledge, but this ability also to be empathic, to learn with others, to manage teams. So this is quite also an important skill.
Absolutely, thank you. I have another question about the scholarships that are available. So we'll go ahead and tell you a little bit more. So all applicants, when they apply to the Global MBA, are considered for 6 different scholarships. Your application will be automatically evaluated for those scholarships. So we have diversity in leadership, we have women in leadership, we have entrepreneurship scholarships. All those details are on our website, but I can also give you more details about those. If I take a look at your resume, if we exchange, I'll be able to let you know the scholarship opportunities that you will have when you apply. So always, like I said a few times, and like our alumni has also said, feel free to reach out always to advisors, to ambassadors, to make sure that you have all the information that you need. Erica here asks, does this track have a strong focus on consulting? Is it more practical or theoretical? And so that's more of a question for you, Sofia. And then Simona and Yatin, you can talk a little bit more about your experience in there. So a few steps into that question.
So it's a mix. So there are, of course, theoretical courses that englobe strategy and you use cases. But there is also a course that is more practical. So maybe Yatin and Simona can talk about this, but you have guest speakers coming from different consultants that will explain their job and give their perspective. So it's a mix, right? So you need to have some theoretical background, some theoretical framework to analyze, but the idea is also to bring the industry to the classroom through these speakers.
Sure, I can actually just pitch in here, and we can probably do this in 2 parts because I've had a consulting experience, so I can give you that point of view, and then for someone like Simona who hasn't really had consulting experience, how that's been, maybe that can give you a 2-part answer. For me, I can talk about how having that past consulting experience with McKinsey, it was going into this kind of a program. Obviously, there's a lot of focus, as Professor Ramos pointed out. There are some workshops that are conducted to help you practice cases. So there is definitely an element of the practical learning angle that exists. But we also have a separate management consulting course that exists with a professor who is a senior vice president with Capgemini, and he does a really extensive course where he takes you through the theory of consulting. So there is a really good blend between the two, and I think that our workshop with Case Coach is particularly helpful in this regard, which really sort of gives you that feeling of what it is like to be in that environment of doing consulting cases, which a lot of individuals may not have experience to but are looking for. So personally, I had a really good experience, and I felt that it checked the boxes. Coming from that kind of background, it wasn't necessarily new to me, but it was still helpful. Maybe Simona can shed some light on what it was like for her.
Sure, yeah. So my background was in consulting earlier, and currently I'm not in consulting as well. But then just to add on what Yatin was mentioning, so yeah, we really did have a lot of networking events and speakers, guest speakers that just came along and introduced us to the consulting world and more details about their specific company. And then moving back to the course that Yatin had mentioned with our professor. So it was an intense course for, I guess, 2 months. Where we had different speakers every single week. And then we had to actually switch the table around. So what I mean by this is that we were acting as the consultants, and we had to present this specific company to the classroom. That was really interesting as well for me, because I was never exposed to the consulting world, but then I got a glimpse of it through this specific class. So for whoever is looking to move into consulting, yeah, this class was very, very interesting for me. It's a personal choice. I didn't end up going into consulting because I wanted to focus mainly on the fintech world. So that's what it was for me.
Thank you. We have another question about the last 3 months of the program. Yatin, you talked about seeking an internship, and the participant is wanting to know if it's possible to do the internship instead of the consulting project, or if it's something that is parallel that you have to do both.
Sure. To answer your question straight up, you can pick one or the other. However, there are certain requirements. For example, the capstone project is from a specific time that is organized by the school, and that runs for about 8 weeks, whereas the internship needs to be, and I think that the capstone goes about 2 to 3 times a week, right? 2 to 3 days a week you're working on this for a period of 8 weeks. Whereas the internship needs to be full-time, which is every day, Monday to Friday, for a period of 3 months at the bare minimum. Of course, if you're over-ambitious, you can do the capstone and then supplement it with an internship, but that's entirely your choice. Me personally, I picked one because I did want to experience the city as well a little bit. But yeah, you can pick one or the other for sure.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, I'm going to take a look at all the other questions. What are the digital strengths ESSEC has in this field, and what are the differences between the luxury brand management track and the strategy and digital leadership track? And this is for you, Sofia, I believe.
Yes, I mean, so let's say first what is similar. So both MBAs, they have a common component, which is mainly in the courses on management. So there's, as I mentioned, there are courses on accounting, finance, marketing, statistics, which are the common component, and also the skills course, I know, in Excel, Tableau, ethical decision. Then you have the track courses. So particularly the luxury brand management track, they focus more, I mean, the courses are more about luxury, so economics of luxury, the different subsectors that you have on luxury, like watches, jewelry, drinks. I mean, there are many. So overall, it seems like just luxury is a sector, but indeed there are many specificities in the different subsectors of luxury, and that they have different components. So the idea is to provide them with more insights about the different components, because many of our participants, when they apply to the luxury brand, they already have some target in terms of subsector that they want, whether it is jewelry, or it is fashion, or it is drinks, or it is watches. So we have some participants already that they are very already focused in some subsector. So I mean, there's a big component and of courses that are different. If Laura can go back on the slides, the courses that I presented here, which are several, about the strategy track. The other one. right? You will have, also around 10 different courses for the luxury track.
Thank you. And what about the digital strength? What about the strength that we have specifically in the digital field? That was one part of the question.
Okay, so I mean, I think there are two components. One, it's about the training, right, that we provide, about the courses that we provide, about what is the disruption that digitalization is bringing. The other component, I think, which is quite important and complementary, of course, is that you have some experience, and through the Digital Week competition, or through the capstone project, it's a way of applying this knowledge and to develop projects. So in a certain way, when you finish the Global MBA, you already have some experience about applying digitalization to specific projects, and this is a value added on your experience and on your CV.
All right, thank you very much. So Samuel here is asking to be contacted to get more information. So Samuel, I will make sure to contact you. Any other participant who would like to be contacted specifically, feel free to reach out, write your information in the chat, or send me an email. I will put the email address for the Global MBA back on the screen. And I will ask our two alumni if they have the famous last word to say before we stop the presentation. If you would like to say a quick word, it's your time.
Let Simona go first.
My last word would be really look into this. We're not just trying to tell you about our experience. It's something that will really change your career. If you're looking to shift, to relocate, really look into ESSEC. It's a really, really good school. Good luck. And if you have any questions that you'd like to take forward, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to help you out. So yeah, that's about it from my end.
Yeah, I think just sort of read up and connect with a lot of current students and a lot of alumni, because they are able to give you the best representation of what their experience has been like. And I say both because you want to know what the program has been in terms of its history and legacy, as well as what it is currently. So, and obviously the program's ever evolving, right? So you want a real-time update on what's going on. So do that, and feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well in case you need any help and you think that there's something you'd like to discuss. Other than that, good luck, and well, hopefully we see you at ESSEC and can welcome you to the family.
Thank you. Sofia, any last word?
Yes, just to say our attendees that indeed ESSEC has a lot of offer on this program. So this is a program very designed for being forward-looking for what is happening in terms of business trends. So we try to address this, and I think we try to incorporate this on the course. And as you see, it's a very complementary. So there's a lot to offer besides also the academic part. There's the talent center. There are many activities. There's the whole experience that we try to provide to participants. And it's a very intense year that goes very fast, as Simona and Tina said. But it's very fruitful. It's a very good experience.
Thank you very much. Thanks you to the three of us, the three of you for your time and all your great insights into the program. Thank you again. Thank you to the participants. Thank you for joining, and always feel free to reach out to us, LinkedIn, email, whenever you wish. You will receive a replay within the next 24 hours, so feel free to rewatch if you'd like to, whenever you want. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day, or have a great end of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all.